Nick, mate, thank you so much for jumping on and joining me. And you're just coming off a record 90K a month for your business, which is incredible. And obviously just reflecting on the journey just now, but also planning for the next 12 months as well, which is going to be really exciting. I feel like it's kind of just starting for you, which sounds amazing because of how far you've already, come up to this point. But I mean, just before we kind of jump into the weeds of how you've been able to grow up to this point, I'd love to just get a bit of a insight into your business and how long you guys have been going, what you do, and then we can jump into some more strategic questions after that.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Will. And it's been good to join the program and get involved with people who are doing, e-commerce, similar efforts in their life. And we started our business, OzSmart, probably about 5 years ago. So we were on Amazon primarily, and my wife was doing most of the work on there by herself. I was working in a regular job, and she was just figuring out Amazon e-commerce, how to get involved in that, and it's just progressed over the last few years, and just in the last 12 months, we decided to get onto Shopify and do our own kind of independent website and, try and be a bit more independent of platforms like Amazon and reduce commission, reduce costs, and all that sort of thing. And it's been good. So
Hmm.
yeah, I joined the program just in the last couple of months, and we've seen some record months, and it's uh, it's good, big learning, but I think it's all going in the right direction. A
Yeah.
bit about our business too, I guess. The products that we're selling is sun protective hats and accessories for outdoor use in Australia, designed and suitable for, you know, harsh Australian sun. So you can check us out at ozsmart.com.
Absolutely. Check him out. I mean, your products have been, yeah, obviously flying off. And I mean, prior to the bigger months, like because as you say, it's seasonal for now, being like especially specifically for the Southern Hemisphere. And we're obviously working on, next year and getting to the Northern Hemisphere. But what were the challenges that you saw when you guys were doing it, obviously yourself, working with say off of Amazon, because you're right, there's so many costs and they, you pay for the convenience or the privilege to be on Amazon, of course. What were kind of the challenges you saw, being independent on Shopify and having to do everything yourself in terms of marketing? Like what were you guys struggling with prior to, coming into the program, for example?
Well, I think primarily ads. So Facebook ads, Meta ads have been a big issue, but
Mm,
other things like Google ads and website setup, SEO, and like just content strategy and email marketing. So all of the things in the program have been, very beneficial and well structured. So those were the biggest challenges in um, so advertising and just setup of the website or optimization of the website. And
yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's probably most of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, it's basically everything when you come off of Amazon or even people from like Etsy and things like that, is that it sounds romantic to come off and be like, look how much money they're taking on Amazon in terms of a cut. But as I say, it's for the convenience and the privilege and the traffic mostly. And suddenly, when you have to drive your
Mm.
traffic and own your own data, you can be thrown very much in the deep end. And we've worked with several that have done the same thing. A couple located in the US and drop shipping in the US and stuff like that. And it's not always easy, but it does come down to understanding that they're two different models, which you guys absolutely took and ran with and have just almost not broken stride with the execution of your plan, your customized plan. Obviously, the support with myself and the other coaches in the community has been amazing. But you've always been engaged, always asking the questions, bringing data to the table to actually talk through and be strategic. And then from the
Mm-hmm.
opposite standpoint, it is always incredible to see how fast and exponentially people can grow. Right. That's something that people come in about. Why do you love e-commerce? And I basically always say is because it can be so exponential. Like we see countless people come into the community similar to yourself, where they even on smaller scales, where they go from 2 to 4 to 10 to 20K in consecutive months. It's like, and that's just the takeoff. And then even people go from 40 to 60 to 120 to 200. Like we've seen that in consecutive months. Like you don't get that in many other places. And so that's obviously with the right structure and strategy, then the implementation, of course, and getting the feedback. And as we mentioned just before offline, it was like there's been some rocky times, and that's also par for the course. So knowing, like even having the expectation that's never always going to be smooth sailing or never going to be a straight line in terms of growth and progress, right? But the more we know that and can accept that and just like, oh, okay, I expected that. I knew that was going to happen. The more we can kind of get on with it and push through because there's problems and challenges that basically there's no problems or challenges that people haven't solved before. And so that's what I love what everyone in this community, and you've been an amazing contributor to the community as well, with your learnings and lessons. So that's been awesome. Um, what yeah, what were the specific strategies we rolled out for you? You mentioned ads, of course. What else has been a big lever for you in getting that massive amounts of growth over the last couple of months that you can put it down to?
Well, I think conversion rate optimization of the website that definitely helped. So setting up the website as per the program and knowing that these methods for setup have been tested and implementing that, we saw conversion rate go from 4% to 6%. So we try to keep it around 6% now, and that's obviously a 50% or masses, right? Increase, and that has a huge impact on sales, just that little bit of push in conversion rate.
Mm,
Um, and I think that's attributed to conversion rate optimization, but also ads optimization and
yeah.
you know other areas. And another big one was setting up email flows. So setting up Klaviyo for all of those customers who are already coming into your system and just retargeting them with email campaigns. So
Mm,
we've now set up the welcome flow and the abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, all of those, very important factors. And that can be as high as 30 or 40% of your monthly revenue if you set it up well. And
yeah.
so we've seen big gains there as well. And
Yeah.
um, you know, those are big ones. And another good one is just having a community, people that you know are doing the same thing that you can talk to and connect with. And when you're doing e-commerce for so long and maybe you don't know anyone doing the same thing,
Mm.
that's very beneficial, and it's good to have people, doing similar things. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's yeah, a big one.
Yeah. I'm really glad you mentioned that because yeah, not many people kind of you don't really go into something like this for the community, but like so many people stay in it for the community. And it's not just to buddy, hey friend. It's like, as you say, it's actually real people doing what you want to do and on the same wavelength as you, because in our everyday lives or personal lives, we probably don't know any or many people doing similar things to us. So it's really hard to have business conversations with them and be in that environment. That's what I definitely originally found in my own journey. So yeah, I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And like I said, you've been a massive contributor. And honestly, a big trend of people that do well and succeed are exactly that. They're involved, they show up, they do the work, as I said, but they also really willing to help others. Like it's not just an ego thing or anything like that. It's actually like they're learning and then they're teaching and then they're learning out something else. They're always on that front end and willing to help with others. And so that's where I see a clear correlation between you and your journey so far, which is amazing. So obviously encourage you to keep that going. Just taking a step back a little bit, because this is something that comes up all the time. I mean, and it's very natural. Before coming into the community, I mean, did you have, or the program, did you have reservations? Were you nervous? What do you sort of feel like before taking the leap to jump in?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. There's a lot of people in the industry of e-commerce coaching, as you're probably well aware. And there's heaps of information online, and maybe it's a low sort of trust industry to be in. Maybe you can give me your thoughts on that. But definitely, maybe it's just personal, but I had reservations about spending money on coaching and being part of a community. But I think,
Mm,
those reservations are, pushed aside once you see the results, because we're spending thousands on the ads, and if they're not, optimized well, and thousands on other things like website costs, apps, and
mm,
just all of those costs involved with the business. And if you can factor in some good guidance into your
mm,
into your costs, then you can recoup those costs. And I think we've seen that. We can measure that.
yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
definitely had some, but I think it's been pushed aside a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing anything new is can be daunting. And I go through this all the time. I remember the first sort of program I invested in, it took me like months. Like someone actually had to physically, a good buddy of mine who I just visited in Bali, who's a mentor of mine, but he literally like pushed me into it and said, you have to do it. Like I'm not even, I'm not giving you a choice. You have to do it. And so that was how apprehensive I was to jump in and get help for my business. But as soon as I did that once, then I did it twice or three times, and I had good experiences. And you obviously got to be mindful because you're right. There's, e-commerce especially, but there's just a lot of untrustworthy people out there. I completely get that, and I know that we kind of get thrown in with other people, which is just normal, right? So we're always out there through just conversations like this, just to show that we're real and that real people are getting real results, so that obviously definitely helps. But
Mm,
it does, it's like anything that you buy into, and you just got to, at some point, there's never going to be 100% certainty. You just got to kind of throw yourself in and fully commit like you guys have. And it's been yeah, absolutely awesome to see you obviously grow to the levels you have. And I mean, just to kind of finish off, I mean, is there anything that you would sort of say, like being in the position you're in, making the transition, obviously Amazon to Shopify, the stage that you were at with some challenges there, and then looking for, I guess, help or solutions? Is something you'd sort of say to people in that stage now, like in your hindsight, I guess, with your wisdom of being in, like what sort of do you recall as being useful for you to make a choice to move or act to A, get help, or B, just, make something happen for yourselves?
oh, just reach out, just get into you've got your own group, but get in contact with people in the group, discuss your concerns, you know, um, and figure it out. There's ways that you can get into learning new processes and do it affordably and within your means, and um, just yeah, set aside any doubts and give it a shot. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sort of like you were saying before, like just taking the plunge, right? There's uncertainty with a lot of things. Um,
Mm,
but you get the information you get the confidence you can, and then you just got to jump in head first. So, man, I
mm, mm,
again, massive congratulations on your progress, and it's just the beginning. I'm so confident in what you do, you as a person operator, and there's simple things that, as I say, like a lot of people can do with the right guidance and behaviors and operating of a business, right? So,
mm,
yeah, massive congrats, big things to come, and obviously thanks for sharing that. I'm sure it's valuable for people looking in.
mm. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having
Cool.
me, and I'll keep forging on and staying engaged as possible, and
Absolutely.
trying to get through the program. So
Absolutely.
I'm only about 50% through, but
Yeah.
more to go and more to do. So keep
Unreal.
pushing on.
Love it. Absolutely, mate. Thanks again.